The title of today's presentation is Victory and Defeat. This is a cross sports training presentation, and though we are focusing on coaches, players, and sporting officials as our primary audience, this presentation is applicable to life and can be viewed by anyone interested. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of our presentation, there are 4 words that are central to the heart of our presentation that we need to define. Failure. Pretty much failure is the lack of success. And we have 2 other definitions as well. Success. Pretty much we're going to focus on the accomplishment of an aim or purpose. Victory. The overcoming of an enemy or antagonist. And you could relate that to mostly a competition. Achievement of mastery or success in a struggle or endeavor against odds or difficulties. We're going to actually dive in that definition as well. Defeat. For today's presentation, we're going to take defeat as a noun. And defeat is simply the loss of a contest. So here's our $1 million questions. Can we succeed when we fail? Can we obtain victory in defeat? Can success set us up for failure? And can wins actually be losses? The first chapter of our presentation will focus on people. Coaches, players, and officials. Do coaches win every game? Do coaches always call the right play? Do coaches win championships every season? Do they always say the right things in interviews? Do they always say the right thing to players? Do coaches always approach officials in an appropriate and respectful manner? Now, obviously, the answers to these questions are no. Thus, we know a little known secret here. Coaches are human. They will make mistakes. They will err. They will make missteps in judgment. Players. Do they hit every shot? Do they make every kill? Do they hit every ball? Do they catch every pass? Do they always make the right pass and or decision? Do they score on every goal attempt? Do they hit every putt? Do they win every race and or every meet? Do they win every game or competition that they participate in? And do players win championships every season? Of course, we know the answer to these questions are no. Again, a little known secret. Players, similar to coaches, are human beings. They will make mistakes. They will make missteps. They will make errors in judgment. Sports officials, referees. Do referees make the right call every time? Do referees always have the right angle and position to make the right call every time? Do referees always know the right things to say to coaches and players in each and every interaction? Do referees officiate championship games every season? Similar to coaches and players, we know the obvious answer to these questions are no. Referees are human beings. They make mistakes. They make missteps. They make errors in judgment. And even the best referees will not officiate championship games each and every season. They're human beings. Chapter 2. Battle for the Ages. Victory versus defeat. Who do you think will win in this clash of titans? Let's find out. Victory versus defeat. Which one of these outcomes do we learn more? Which one of these outcomes do we experience more mistakes and errors? Which outcome do we experience more? Which outcome makes us better? Which outcome results in us being more inspired and motivated? These questions are why this presentation exists. And right now, if we were to answer these questions, the answer would be, depends on who you ask. Chapter 3, F&D Incorporated. How do we respond to failure and defeat? Here are some of our initial reactions that we may have when we experience failure and or defeat. Perhaps frustration, perhaps anger, perhaps disappointment, perhaps sadness, maybe surprise and shock, maybe depression. And I'm sure you can think of other initial reactions to failure and defeat. So what are some of our initial responses to failure and defeat? Do we perform an evaluation after experiencing failure and defeat? Do we quit or resign the job or goal or aim that we are seeking? Do we give it another attempt or another try? Are we a sore loser? Are we a poor sport when experiencing failure and defeat? Or are we a good loser and or a good sport when experiencing failure and defeat? Do we blame others and not take accountability for our role in failure and defeat? Can you think of some other responses to failure and defeat? Chapter 4, S and V Incorporated. How do we respond to success and victory? Here are some initial reactions we may have when experiencing success and victory. Perhaps satisfaction. Perhaps we are poor winners in bad sports when we win. Most of us probably would experience some level of joy and happiness. Are we good winners and or good sports? Does success and victory surprise and shock us? Or are we not surprised by success and victory? Can you think of some other initial reactions to success and victory? After our initial reactions to success and victory, what are some of our responses? Are we willing to perform an evaluation even though we were successful or even though we were victorious? Is this success and victory the conclusion of our journey? Do we want to give it another go, another try? Are we a poor sport in success and victory? Or are we a good sport in success and victory? Remember that we are in a competition and we are successful in victory. We must consider that someone has failed and or has been defeated. And do we give or not give the appropriate credit? Remember, you are never alone in success and victory. Chapter 5, Evaluation. Let's keep this 100. Let's show some honesty here. Do we perform or take part in an evaluation regardless of failure or success, victory, or defeat? Do other people evaluate us and our processes? Are they honest and objective? Do we hear them or listen to them? Do we self-evaluate ourselves and our processes? And are we honest and objective? Is the evaluation verbal, written, audio recorded, video recorded, or a combination? Here's the funny thing about evaluations. Evaluations are such that we can learn things about ourselves and about others. And evaluations can be performed whether we are victorious or whether we are defeated, whether we experience failure or whether we experience success. The reason being is that we are human beings and we are not perfect. So what is being evaluated and what things that are not being evaluated should we evaluate? Work ethic. The best people are not always the most talented. Usually the best people are the hardest workers. They are willing to put in time, effort, and commitment. We're talking about practice, not the game, practice. Famous interview by Allen Iverson. I highly recommend watching the entire 30-minute interview. There is much to learn from his interview regarding practice. So speaking of time, how much time, effort, and commitment do we invest in practice? Do evaluators watch and or film practice and warm-ups? If they don't, we should. The process. Do we understand the process that one is undertaking? Are we knowledgeable of the process of the people we are evaluating? Do we have our very own process in our journey to achieve? The answer to all of those, or these questions rather, should be yes. If we're talking about the game, it's the most logical event to evaluate. It is the interview. But we as evaluators should be aware and consider all of the controllables and other variables when evaluating people. Arrival times. We should take in consideration one's arrival time for class, camp, practice, the game, essentially the interview. Are they professional enough to be early? Reaction and response, or as I like to call it for purposes of this presentation, R&R. We should place emphasis on how people handle defeat, failure, and adversity. We should evaluate how they handle making errors. We should also evaluate people in victory and success. The problem with evaluations sometimes are the following. Either evaluations are not thorough enough, we as evaluators are not taking in consideration the myriad of factors in the persons that we are evaluating, or sometimes the evaluators themselves are not the most qualified to be doing the evaluations. Chapter 6, Perspective. We can see the exact same things and view them completely different. How do we view failure? Does it exist? Do we fear it? Is failure success because in essence we strive for a goal? Meaning, is failure success because we actually attempted to achieve a goal or aim where most people would not even give it the attempt or the try? Is it a natural step / part of the process that leads to success? Do we expect failure because it's a natural part of life? Do we expect it because we are allergic to success? Are we inspired and motivated by failure? Is failure our fault or the fault of others? If we quit or resign, is that failure? I can help you with that one. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it's not. It depends on the situation. Can victory and success actually lead to failure? Do we process failure? When does failure actually occur? Does it occur in our reaction? Does it occur in our response? Does it occur when we don't achieve the aim or goal? When does failure actually occur? How do we view success? Does it actually exist? Is failure success? Do we fear success? To piggyback off whether we fear success, are we prepared for the expectations that success will bring? Is success the end of our journey or just the beginning? Is success a natural step / part of a process that will be ongoing, that will continue in a cycle? Do we view success as our hard work alone? Is success the actual tries and attempts? Is success a sprint, race, or marathon? Does success inspire and motivate us? When does success occur? Does it occur in our reaction? Does it occur in our response? Or does it occur in the actual victory? And is the success of other people our success as well? How do you view success? Have we considered that in failure and defeat, that life's a factor? Most people have lives in addition to the event in question. Things happen in life. It is a challenge to have 100% focus to the event in question. Negativity. Unfortunately, in failure and defeat, most people on the outside race to place fault and blame without consideration to other contributing factors. To piggyback off of that, accountability. We ourselves should never race to blame others first and foremost for our failures and defeat. But if we're being truthful and we're being honest, sometimes other people unintentionally or intentionally do contribute to our failure and defeat. R&R. As I told you earlier, for this presentation, that will stand for reaction and response. Unfortunately, sometimes human nature will dictate that our first reactions and responses usually will be negative as opposed to positive. If we are on the outside looking in, then we should show some empathy to the people who have tried and failed or who have been defeated. Evaluation. After our initial reaction, can we challenge ourselves and others to perform evaluations to see if our goals and aims are still possible? Education. We learn the most when we fail and make mistakes. This is the irony of life. This education will give us the greatest opportunity of achieving, wait for it, success. Have we considered that in success and victory? Again, most people have lives in addition to the event in question. Things happen in life. And the irony of that is sometimes it is the things that have happened in the lives of people in which success is motivated, usually by failure and defeats. Negativity. Unfortunately, most people on the outside race to give credit to the most prominent and public figure alone. Ladies and gentlemen, success and victory are team achievements. Accountability. We should never race to simply pat ourselves on the back as if our success is simply a result of our work alone. We needed help somewhere along the way. Ladies and gentlemen, your success is a product of someone giving you an opportunity along the way. Whether the person that gave you opportunity are truthful in their intentions, or what do they have motives behind their intentions? Regardless, they did provide you an opportunity. R&R. Human nature dictates that our first responses and reactions usually will be negative as opposed to positive. It would be too much like right if we could be happy for other people's success as opposed to being jealous and envious of their success. Evaluation. After an initial reaction, can we challenge ourselves to perform evaluations to see if we can maintain continued success? Ladies and gentlemen, we're not perfect at all. So we are never perfect in our roads to success and victory. There are many lessons to be learned in our journey if we wish to continue to experience these outcomes. Let's keep this 100. There's no right or wrong answer to the following question. When you are seeking an aim, a goal, a purpose, when you're attempting to achieve something, where's the majority of your focus and your aims and goals? Take a minute, be honest with yourself. Is the majority of your focus in the process, in the potential success, in the fear of failure, evaluation, finance, time? Are there other factors that are not present on this slide? Can you answer this now? Is there victory in defeat? Is there success in failure? I can help you with these two questions. The answer, definitively, there can be. If you have any questions about anything in this presentation, you can email me at the following email address: damon@waatg.com. We would like to give credit to Slides Carnival and Unsplash for the photographs and this presentation template. This presentation design uses the following titles, fonts, and body copies, and we would like to give them credit and thank them for their use of this presentation template. Thank you for spending some time with us today. We hope you gain some valuable insight in victory and defeat. Once again, thank you for your time. Have a great day. Have a great week. Have a great year.